Shalom, Yasha Allah. First and foremost, I want to get all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash, Divine Aside Apostles and others, a great millstone who grew well. And peace and blessings to the hopeful elect that switches the great gospel in sincerity and truth. I'm your brother Hezekiah Yahweh from the great millstone to the Annapolis camp. Coming at you another lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai. And Lord willing to be edifying. Got the article from the apnews.com and it reads, Knocking on Famine's Door. UN Food Chief wants action now. Article came out September 23rd, 2022, the year Yahweh Shai turning up. And it reads, the UN Food Chief warned Thursday that the world is facing a perfect storm on top of a perfect storm and urged donors, particularly Gulf nations and billionaires, to give a few days of profits to tackle a crisis with the fertilizer supply right now and prevent widespread food shortages next year. Otherwise, there's going to be chaos all over the world. This is damn, you see that? Chaos is gonna be all over the world. It's gonna be what? Civil unrest, sedition, food riots and all that's gonna, a lot of stuff gonna go on, especially when you can't eat. Right? And that's prophecy, Lord. We get that. It says the World Food Program Executive Director David Beasley said in an Associated Press interview. Beasley said that when he took the helm of the WFP 5.5 years ago, only 80 million people around the world were headed towards starvation. They say only, like that, they ain't no big number. And he said, I'm thinking, well, I can put the World Food Program out of business, he said. But climate problems increased that number to 135 million. The Crown pandemic, which began in the early 2020, doubled it to 276 million people, not knowing where their next meal was coming from. Finally, Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24th, sparking a war and a food, fertilizer, and energy crisis that has pushed the number to 345 million. Right? And ultimately, we know this is all due to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Of course, man, I have they say these things, but they don't really understand what's going on. It says within that are 50 million people in 45 countries knocking on famine's door. Beasley said, if we don't reach these people, you will have famine, starvation, and destabilization of nations unlike anything we saw in 2007, 2008, and 2011. And that's what we're rooting for, and we ultimately know through the spirit of power of Yahweh Bashem Shai, that's going to come to pass. It says, and you will have a mass migration. We got to respond now. Beasley has been meeting world leaders and speaking at events during this week's General Assembly gathering of leaders who warn about the food crisis. General Assembly President Kasaba Karosi noted in his opening address Tuesday that we live, it seems, in a permanent state of humanitarian emergency. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned that conflicts and humanitarian crises are spreading, and the funding gap for the UN's humanitarian appeal stands at $32 billion, the widest gap ever. This year, Beasley said the war shut down grain shipments from Ukraine, a nation that produces enough food to feed 400 million people, and sharply curtailed shipments from Russia, the world's second largest exporter of fertilizer and a major food producer. Beasley said donor fatigue often undermines aid. Particularly in countries in ongoing crisis like Haiti, inflation is also a serious issue, right? And we've definitely been experiencing that over here as well. They just happen over here in Babylon the Great. It's happening everywhere, and that's definitely going to lead to these CBDCs and new type of monetary system to do away with those things, and they want to so they can usher in their global reset. It say, pretty much going to the NWO. It says raising prices are hitting poor people who have no coping capacity because of Crown just economically devastated them. So mothers, he said, are forced to decide, do they buy cooking oil and feed their children, or do they buy heating oil so they don't freeze? Because that's not enough money to buy, because there's not enough money to buy both. It's a perfect, and then imagine that, with the whole, the Nord Stream thing, that gas that fuels a lot of, that fuels a lot of places, in Europe, hey, a lot of them gonna freeze there because this thing that happened, ultimately we understand, who's behind it, but, but through those actions, a lot of people are gonna freeze for that because of that. So look, they ain't gonna know that they're gonna be faced with that. Whether we can buy oil to cook or we buy, gas or, whatever the case may be, whatever we can get our hand on so we don't freeze, buy heating oil so we don't freeze. Trust me. They say, well, it's a perfect storm on top of a perfect storm, Beasley said. With the fertilizer crisis we're facing right now, with droughts, we're facing a food pricing problem in 2022. This created havoc around the world. If we don't get on top of this quickly, and I don't mean next year, I mean this year, you will have food availability. You will have a food availability problem in 2023, he said, and that's going to be hell. And I done, read recent, articles and stuff like that in regards to 2023, whether it be more food shortages and food crisis and stuff like that, and it definitely said it will be. They saying that the famine is going to hit this world, in the coming times, pretty much around the corner. It's going to be of biblical proportions, and that's the spirit that they said that because it's all biblical prophecy. It says Beasley explained that the world now produces enough food to feed the more than 7.7 billion people in the world, but 50% of that food is because farmers use fertilizer. They can't get those high yields without it. China, the world's top fertilizer producer, has banned its exports. Russia, which is number two, is struggling to get it to the world markets. We've got to get those fertilizers moving, and we got to move it quickly, he said. Asian rice production is at critical state right now. Seeds are in the ground. In Africa, 33 million small farms feed over 70% of the population, and right now we're several $billions short of what we need for fertilizer. He said Central and South America also faced drought, and India was buffeted by heat and drought. It could go on and on, he said. This is Yahweh Shemashah visiting the world which he made. Y'all thought everything was going to be all, lolly-dolly, everything's going to be good, everyone's going to live happily ever after. Absolutely not. That's not part of the plan of Yahweh Shemashah. He's bringing death and destruction. The scriptures say, woe unto the world and them that dwell therein, right? That's what's coming to the world. Lamentations, mourning, and woe. He said the July deal to ship Ukrainian grain from three Black Sea ports is a start, but we got to get the grain moving. We've got to get the fertilizer out there for everybody, and we need to end the wars. Beasley said, yeah, that's not going to happen. Beasley said the United States contributed an additional $5 billion for food security, and Germany, France, and the European Union are also stepping up. But he called on Gulf states to step up more with oil prices so high, particularly to help countries in their regions like Yemen, Syria, Afghanistan, and Somalia, but who done destroy those countries, let you guess. They say, we're not talking about asking for $1 trillion here, Beasley said. We're just talking about asking for a few days' worth of your profits to stabilize the world, he said. The WFP chief said he also met with a group of billionaires on Wednesday night. He said he told them that they had a moral obligation and a need to care. Even if you don't give it to me, even if you don't give it to the World Food Program, get in the game. Get in the game of loving your neighbor and helping your neighbor. These people. Beasley said people are suffering and dying around the world. When a child dies every 5 seconds from hunger, shame on us. Edith M. Lederer is chief UN correspondent for whatever. We need to read that. So that's pretty much all on that. Like I said, it's definitely one of my favorite topics. Top 3, and like I said, it's knocking on famine's door, and that's what the world is headed into. Famine, as a matter of fact. A couple of days ago, after that article came out, it says this: in Europe, fire breaks out at world's biggest produce market in Paris, and this happened September 25th, 2022. Yahweh Shemashah, the year Yahweh Shemashah turned it up, and there's a little smoke of it, It says a billowing column of dark smoke towered over Paris Sunday from a warehouse blaze at a massive produce market that supplies the French capital and surrounding regions with much of its fresh food and bills itself as the largest of its kind in the world. Firefighters urged people to stay away from the area and Paris southern suburbs as 100 officers and 30 fire engines battled the blaze at the Rungis International Market. Captain Marc Lemon, a representative for the Paris Fire Service, said no one was injured. The fire was brought under control, and there was no risk of it spreading from the soccer field-sized warehouse covering the area 7,000 square meters or 1.7 acres, he said. The cause of the blaze was unknown, of course, but will be investigated, he added. The sprawling wholesale market is a veritable town unto itself with more than 12,000 people working there in warehouses filled with fruit, vegetables, seafood, meats, dairy products, and flowers from across France and around the world. So, like I said, do you not think that this will contribute to that food shortage, those food shortages, and those food crises? Because this dinner, like, correct, if anybody, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is over 100 of these warehouses from since the start of the year, or even the start of the end part of last year, that have been caught on fire, that have been set ablaze. We know it's been a great number of those in Babylon the Great over here, but these this is not a coincidental thing. If you ask me, all these, especially like all these food processing places, all the with produce and meats, and even though we don't eat pork, but those pork places being shut down and on ablaze, and just anywhere that's supposed to produce food, they have been sabotaged. If you ask me, they have been destroyed, and that's going to definitely lead to that starvation, that those famines, acute hunger, chronic hunger. It's going to lead to all those things, right? Because that's what the world needs to. That's what Yahweh Shemashah is bringing to this world, right? Because a lot of people, and as a matter of fact, we're gonna get the scriptures on it. Because we just gonna go ahead and get the scriptures, to help my thoughts. This is because this is all prophecy anyway, so it ain't nothing you can do. Oh, we want you. We can talk to the billionaires. You need to get in the game. It don't matter what you ask them to do. It's have them do. Famine's still gonna run rampant. People gonna die from it at the end of the day. This is Second Ezra chapter 15 verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, right? We speaking into the ears of the people Yahweh Shem Shai, who are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and of course the speckled bird who look like unto the heathens, because you're scattered amongst them due to the curses, due to our disobedience to Yahweh Shem Shai. It says the word of prophecy. Prophecy means to say before. So right now we speak the things before they actually happen. That's why you need to take heed. Which I will put in thy mouth, said Yahweh Shem Shai. Is the Lord putting these words in our mouths. We are just utensils. We are just tools, right? In hopes and the Lord willing to be of the hopeful, of the elect, of the hopeful elect. But right now we've been called to do the mouthpiece of Yahweh Shem Shai here on earth. It says, and like I said, that call hopefully be transferred to being chosen. Verse 2, and cause them to be written in paper. Right? That's why we have the scriptures, for they are faithful and true, because we know Yahweh Shem Shai is not like man that lies. As a matter of fact, the scripture says it's impossible for Yahweh Shem Shai to lie. Therefore, we know that all the things he say are going to happen, right? And it's been proven of these various things that was written in the scriptures, that you can go look into history or whatever the case may be, and it happened. So why not believe that the things that was written aforetime that happened in these latter times are not going to happen as well, right? Only those who are blinded, they won't be able to see these things. It say, verse 3, fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them or unbelief of them trouble thee that speak against me. So, hey, if you don't believe, that's not going to tear our faith. That's not going to get us huffing and puffing and mad that, hey, what's that to us? That's on you. You got to answer to Yahweh Shem Shai, because verse 4 say, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So don't listen to us. Don't believe us, Because I want to listen to man. Hell no. I want the Lord to come down here himself. No, you don't. Trust and believe that our people said that before, and when he did kill down, everybody wanted to speak. We don't want to speak to the Lord no more. We want to speak to you, Moses. Yeah, because when the Lord come down here, he getting busy. If you want to speak to him, but hey, at the end of the day, that's on you. You don't believe, man. Hey, death and destruction will come to you, right? Verse 5, behold, saith Yahweh Shem Shai, I will bring plagues upon the world. So it's Yahweh Shem Shai bringing these plagues upon the world. So when man talk about we trying to stop this thing, we need to do this and that, and absolutely not. This is the will of Yahweh Shem Shai. So it's going to happen. They say the sword, famine, death, and destruction. These are some of the plagues that Yahweh Shem Shai sends to the world. Why? For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. How is wickedness exceedingly polluted the whole earth? Because the wicked are in power. And what righteousness can come for those who were set up to be wicked, right? Who were set up to be unclean. How can anything good come from that? How could anything, any integrity, any high moral standards, how could that come from anyone that was set up to be wicked? It's impossible, as a matter of fact. Because people are like, who the wicked is? Well, we'll get to that. This is, real quick, First Maccabees chapter 1, I'm going to start at verse 7. So Alexander, right, who y'all call Alexander the Great, is what? He's a so-called white man, is he not? Yep. He reigned 12 years and then died, right? And it said, and his servants bear rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And what happened? And evils were multiplied in the earth. Why was evils multiplied in the earth? Because they are the wicked. That's why it didn't say and good came out of the word. The Esau Edom is the wicked. As a matter of fact, get a few more to prove that. This is Malachi chapter 1, verses 4, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. And that's what happened. They became impoverished, after the pagan, the Western Roman Empire ultimately fell altogether. And then someone was pushed into the mountains, and then the rest of them were put into servitude, and others went to, hide in various places. So they were impoverished. But they say, but we will return and build the desolate places. That's the Renaissance. That's the rebirth period when they came back in power and instituted the arts and the works and the mannerisms and the philosophies of the antiquity of the Greeks and the Romans, which the Edomite Greeks and the Edomite Romans, right? Because we know the original Romans and Greeks, they were Japhetic, they were dark-skinned people, not these so-called pasty, pale, white dogs. So it's a so-called white dogs, because they really, red. It say, thus saith the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemashai hosts, they shall build, which they did, but I will throw down. So you wondering who going to take this man down? It's going to be Yahweh Shemashai. They going to take him down, right? And it say, even using the people to help, not necessarily help, but just to be used as utensils, a part of the Lord's armory to destroy Babylon the Great, and ultimately destroy Esau as a whole, as they self. It says, within the war, and then of course, in the slavery, that's when they definitely gonna be destitute and finish after their 1,000-year reign. It say what? And they shall call them, who is them? Esau, Edom, so-called white man, the border of wickedness, right? And the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever, righteous anger forever. It ain't gonna never stop until y'all is taken out of the earth. And this is and just to prove that real quick, going to why the wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth. This is Job chapter 9, verse 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who's the hand of the wicked? Esau, Edom. He covered the face of the judges thereof, if not where and who is he? Because who painted themselves as being Yahweh? Who painted themselves as being Yahweh Shai? Who painted themselves as being, the angels? Who painted themselves as being the prophets? Who painted themselves as being the Israelites? You guessed it, you're right, the so-called white man. Because we definitely can go into scripture and prove that Yahweh, white Yahweh Shai, and the rest of us on down, we are dark-skinned. Yeah, you got some that may look like that due to, us, sleeping with the other nations, or the case may be, through the male sleeping with other nations, because the seed line still go back to Israel, though. That's all that matters. No matter what you look like on the outside. But predominantly, from the beginning, the Israelites were a dark-skinned people. They were and still is a dark-skinned people. Going back to 2nd Ezra 15. So this is the reason why, because these people was put in power and rulership, and their wickedness had exceedingly pollute the whole earth. So now here the Lord, he coming back and visiting this place which he made. He's going to cleanse them ultimately out of the earth, right? But hey, these things must come to pass. Jumping down, this is I want to get this point real quick and say, woe to the 2nd Ezra 15 of 14, woe or death and destruction to the world and them that dwell therein. So y'all looking for humanitarian help, y'all looking for things to be relieved, y'all looking for things to go back to normal, all this and that shit's not going to happen. It's not. It's going to get worse and get worse and worse, right? And I just wanted to jump down right here to verse 18, because the dude did say, like, things are going to get really bad, going to get really horrible if we can't stop this or deter this, and this is why. Verse 18, because of the pride of the cities, because of their pride, their high-mindedness, their loftiness, thinking that hey, nothing can ever affect us. We'll never go down. We'll always be on top, right? Nothing bad can happen. If it does happen, we'll always rise up, right? That prideful, this over here, especially over here in Babylon the Great, people here think like, hey, won't nothing ever happen over here. We live in the greatest country in the world. We'll always be sustained. Definitely not going to be the case. It say, because of the pride, the city shall be troubled. You're going to be troubled. You're going to go through bad times. It say, many great miseries shall happen to them. That the latter times that dwell on the earth, right? Because of their pride. Roughly paraphrasing. The 2nd Ezra 8 and 50. Many great miseries are coming. And famine is definitely a hell of a misery that's going to come to the world. It say, the houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. Why is this gonna happen? Because they say what? A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. He's not gonna care about your ass no more. Jim, Bob, and whoever the hell, whoever the hell, Thomas, you know, they're not gonna give a damn about you when they stomachs growling, they families growling, they wife in their ear. You're not a man. You got us over here. It's hungry. This that. Bill gonna be pissed. Bill gonna get his gun. He gonna get, he gonna, man, you know what? You're right. This makes me feel like a man. He gonna come kill you. Why? You say, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. Why? Why are they gonna do this? And spoil their goods. Spoil what you have, right? Because ultimately they not gonna have it, right? So spoil means to rob, to steal your goods because of what? Because of the lack of bread. That's why these things are gonna happen. That's why mainly houses are gonna be destroyed. Of course, through wars and all that stuff too. But niggas gonna be hungry. That's why. And it said because of lack of bread and for great tribulation, they're gonna be going through it, right? Jacob's trouble, a time like never before, right? That's what's coming to the world, a horrible time like never before, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said it's gonna get really bad. So yeah, again, I'm gonna read that. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. I don't give a damn about you nor your family, but shall destroy their house with the sword and spoil their goods. Why am I doing this? Because of the lack of bread. We hungry. We ain't got it. You got it. Then even you may not have it, but you got something. We ain't got nothing over here. People gonna kill you because they hungry. They want your food. They want your goods. Right? This is what's gonna come to the world. There's no escaping this. You get what I'm saying? And that was the spirit that they said. Knocking on family's door is gonna lead to stuff like that, uproars and stuff like that. The people, marching and all this and that. That's what's coming to this place, right? Because of why? Ultimately, the wickedness. That's why I say over here. Is it 14, 13? Yeah. So Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 12, right? The city will not be spared, right? And that great city, Babylon the Great, it definitely will not be spared, right? But like I said, we understand that this is going to be a global thing. This family's going to be global. It's going to be everywhere. This pestilence, it's going to be global everywhere, right? It says, Ezekiel 14, verse 12, the word of Yahweh Shemashai came again to me, saying, Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, and it's not the land the grass and the fields is they sin against the Lord. No, it's speaking about the people who are governing over the land, the people who are ruling over the land. And we established earlier that the earth is getting into the hand of the wicked, so they are the owners and the rulers of the lands around the world, right? And they say, Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, right? They trespass grievously. They don't care about Yahweh Shemel Shai's his law, statutes, commandments, right? Get that quick point real quick. Bear with me if it's a little long. Psalm chapter 50, verse 16. But unto the wicked, Yahweh Shemashai saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee? See, they trespass against Yahweh Shemashai grievously because they don't even care about upholding the standards of the law. Right? They don't give no land Sabbaths and let the land rest and stuff like that so it can heal itself. No. They continue to put pressure on it and destroy. Right? So, hey, that's just one instance of trespass against the Lord. But just they hold men. Look at what they do. They allow the alphabet people to run rampant, They allow for a woman to commit adultery against their husband and then, divorce them and get half they damn earn. Like they allow madness, right? You get to celebrate all these wicked ass holidays, they allow madness. We could keep going on and on. So it says, Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, then will I stretch out my hand upon it and will break the staff of bread thereof. I mean, what? It's going to break the food. Like I said, it's going to break up the pretty much the storehouses, the food store, everywhere that's supplying food. He's gonna break it up. That's what I was thinking about, like the storehouses, the warehouses, your Walmarts, your Kmarts, he's going to destroy the staff of bread. He pretty much he ain't even going to be able to even plant stuff. You can't plant without the fertilizer that they're speaking of. So you're not going to be able to do that. So it's your how about you? He's going to break the staff of the bread thereof and do what? And will send famine upon it. He's going to send famine. Again, he said he sends these things, right? And it will cut off man and beast from it. And that's what recently been going on. A lot of, like I said, I don't read. Like I said, I be into this famine stuff. A lot of farmers, not only can they not buy fertilizer, but they can't buy the feed for the animals that actually sustain the farm. So they die. They gonna die off too. So not only men gonna die, then the animals that you try to resort to kill, they gonna die too because they can't eat nothing. Right? It say, though these three men Noah, Daniel, and Job were in it, right? And this, and this is pretty much they signifying the elect, signifying the elect or the of the Yahweh Shai, and and they say we're in it. They should deliver, but their own souls by their righteousness, save Yahweh Shai, power, right? So that's just giving you a similitude that the elect, they represent the elect, and then through the spirit, if you spiritual, hey, hey, Noah could be here, Daniel could be here, Job can be here right now, prophesying against this kingdom and seeing all these things come to pass, right? That's definitely a possibility that this could. Well, we know it told Daniel that's he gonna stand in his light in the end days, so we know that. You know, I think Job said his Redeemer living, he shall see him. He probably seen him during the time of when he was here 2,000 years ago. He probably gonna see him right now when he come back. Just giving you examples of reincarnation. They can definitely be here, but ultimately this is they represent the elect in this time. The elect gonna be delivered from their righteousness, right? You got to put forth, you got to show your faith by your works. You can't just say I believe, I believe. No, you got to show, you got to have works with it that shows that you believe, right? So we understand that this is coming to pass, and you know what? And this has sparked me because now, right? What's going on in the world? See, especially over here in Babylon the Great, a lot of madness. They can put anything in the media, and then everybody just eat it, just feed on it, right? This whole, like I said, I made mention of the other lesson, this whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing, right? And what would this fool doing? We gonna show examples. This is Lamentations chapter 4 verse 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they be slain with hunger. So it's better for you to die violently or get killed by the sword or die any other way, pretty much. Regards to dying from hunger. Starving to death. Why could it say for these pine away, stricken through for the want of the fruits of the field? They pine away, right? They wither away. They deteriorate, right? You know what? Just I don't know what to say in the NLT. Lamentations 4:9. Those killed by the sword are better off than those who die of hunger. Starving, they waste away for lack of food from the fields. They just say they waste away, right? Just sitting there, just withering. That's why you be watching the movies, and they like those, especially like those old mummy movies, and then they open a little door or whatever, and then you see bones just sitting there, laying there, just sitting up, or whatever, just bones, because they starved to death, withered away, right? That's coming to the world in a great fashion. Lamentations 4:10, right? The hands of the pitiful woman has sightened their own children. Yeah, y'all so into Jeffrey Dahmer right now. Yeah, everybody a serial killer specialist. They know all about the serial killers now. He was eating the people and this and that. This what you're going to do too. See, he was doing that because I believe you eat him. He's just sick. That's just how they is. But you're going to have to do it out of necessity. You see what I'm saying? If you can even stomach that, or die, or starve to death. Right? It say the hands of the pitiful woman has sodden their own children. And, for those who don't know what sodden means, they say what? To boil up, hence to be done in cooking, bake, boil, bring, roast, seethe, to boil, cook, bake. Yeah, that's what our women back in the day did. And it probably happened to other women around the world, but mainly to our people. That's what they did. It's an account in 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 25, where two women pretty much agreed to eat one son and eat the other. That was the agreement. You go read that for yourself. But aside, yeah, didn't Jeffrey Dahmer cut them people up, grind them up, and cook their meat? He, like I said, he did that, because he's just a sick individual. You're gonna have to do that out of necessity if you want to live. That's what's gonna come to the world. And their own children, right? That's their own children. They the weak ones. What they always say, the survival of the fittest, right? Your children gonna be able to overpower you. So what, you gonna knock them out? Do what the hell you gonna do it, or kill them, and then you gonna cook them and eat them. It say they were their meat and destruction of the daughter of my people, and the destruction definitely coming back to the daughter of Yahweh Shai people. Why? Because we are the main ones to uphold the standard of Yahweh Shai. He gave us the law, statutes, and amendments, but majority of our people, that's why I say 2/3 shall be cut off. Right, 2/3 of our people, especially, and that's over here in Babylon the Great. Majority of our people want to live and uphold wickedness versus upholding righteousness, because then you got a lot of people that's speaking out against that situation, and they speaking on behalf alphabet people. An abomination against Yahweh Shai Shai. Madness. So you people are, all for, wickedness, sin and iniquity. right? And you're gonna be visited upon for those things, and that's what's gonna come to the world. You're gonna cannibalism coming back. They ain't gonna be able to feed people. You get the food that they want, they hoping to get. No, you gonna eat your own goddamn arm. You gonna eat your own children. You gonna eat your family members. That's what you're gonna do. That's what's coming to the world. You know, and Lord willing, we be able to elect so that don't happen unto us. Because, and I'm gonna end it right here. I ain't mean for this to be too long. 65 verse 11, but ye are they that forsake Yahweh Shemashai, that forget my holy mountain, right? Y'all forget. You forget who you are. You forget Yahweh Shemashai. You forget who surnamed you and gave you your name, and who brought you up. You forget who did that. That prepare a table for that truth. Right? Y'all want to uphold the standard of Babylon the Great. Y'all want to uphold the philosophies and ways of life that Esau, produced for you to live by, and that furnish the drink offer unto that number. Yeah, so what's going to happen? Therefore, while I number you to the sword, how about you? I'm going to number you to death and destruction, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, right, he's calling through his men, the prophets. Ye did not answer. When I spake, he spake through who? His men, the prophets. Ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes. You continue to do that which was evil, right? It say what? Because the unjust knoweth no shame. You continue to do that which is evil when you was corrected, when you was told not to do that for your betterment, for the saving of your soul, but you reject that. You smack that away. So that's why death and destruction is going to come unto thee, right? But did evil before my eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. You chose wickedness over righteousness, and Yahweh Shemashai does not delight in that. Right? It say, therefore, thus saith Yahweh Shemashai, Lord power, behold, my servants shall eat, right? His servants, the elect, they gonna eat. Again, Lord willing, we be a part of that number. But ye shall be hungry. Y'all gonna be hungry, starving, pining away. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. You're going to be ashamed because when the time period come, when all hell breaking loose, you're not going to have no covering. You're not going to have a standard. The Lord's not going to lift up a standard for you. You're going to be numbered to the slaughter. You're going to be numbered to the sword. You're going to die by famine. You're going to die by death. You're going to die by the sword. You're going to die in however you have Shemashai slated for you to die for. Die. That's how you're going to go. They say, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, because we're going to have that covering, Lord willing. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be okay. We did all that Yahweh Shemashai commanded us to do to the best of our ability. And we understand that there's a reward coming from that. And that main reward, of course, is salvation, to receive those crowns, to be in the kingdom. But on this side, the main reward is to receive salvation. Right? They say, but your reward is going to be what? Death. But ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. You see what I'm saying? And that's what's coming to the world, to you, the undesirables, howling and vexation of spirit, shame, death, and destruction is coming unto thee, because you chose not to take heed, right? But we, Lord willing, we hope that Yahweh Shemashai keep the spirit upon us to continue to believe, that he increase us in faith, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to navigate when these time periods come, that he provide for us when these perilous times shall come. That's what we hope it for. So definitely don't want this to go too long, but hey, like the scripture, like the article said, man, that famine is knocking at the door, and somehow they got to play the role of dying by famine. And Lord willing, don't be us. So again, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the sincere Akim while Akwafim out there listening. I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honor to our apostles, the elders, the great millstone, who rule well. And peace and blessings to the hopeful elect that pushes the great gospel in sincerity and truth. Shalom, Yasha Allah, Abide, Babal.